So as a title company, we don't like wills, and we see them all the time, whether they had a will or they don't have a will. We don't like them because they're not a legal document.
A will essentially is just instructions to the probate court on who gets what. Essentially, if you have a trust, this is the extent of what you have to do to transfer real property after somebody dies. However, if you have a will or no will at all, this is what you do to transfer real property.
So when somebody creates a trust, it's not for the person that already passed away, but it's for all the survivors that have to distribute the assets and funds.
But the principle of trust is that there has to be three parties. There has to be a trustor or trust maker. That's the person that's giving the property to the trust. You have to have a trustee. That's the person that has to administer and work with the trust on behalf of the third party, which is the beneficiaries. Those are people that get the benefit of the trust. Now, these revocable trusts, often the same person is the trustor, trustee, and the beneficiary. If the property is owned by the trust, when that person dies, who happen to be all three, the document itself will name who's the next trustee. And that's what this is. This is the substitution of trustee. So you can just go ahead and move on with closing escrow or distributing the benefits of the trust to the new beneficiaries.
One thing we see a lot of times too is that people will create a trust and never put the actual assets or the properties into the trust. They won't deed it into the trust. We see that happen all the time.
Think of the trust as a basket. The trust can deal with anything that is in the basket. And the way that you put it in the basket is you title assets in the name of the trust. We call that funding the trust. But if you don't title the assets in the name of the trust can't deal with it. We end up back in court, but it's still a probate procedure to try to deal with that asset.
If you're thinking about having a trust created or have questions regarding the trust, reach out to David J. Greiner at the Greiner Law Corp.